intro. Welcome, everyone. It is May 13th at time of recording. I'm joined by our friend Brian. Brian, what's up, buddy?
Ain't shit shaking, but the leaves in the trees, baby. David, how you doing?
Trying to figure out how to respond to that, but
yeah, curveball.
Yeah, doing good. Not really, not much different over on, in my neck of the woods. So, yeah, just trying to keep at it. Look for ways to improve. With the dog, she had her first training session on Sunday. Unfortunately, she doesn't know it's $90 a session, and she was tired within, the first 20 minutes. So
Yeah,
it's basically just me talking to the trainer about, conceptually what we could do when she exhibits such behaviors. But yeah, she's kind of aligned in thinking that she was with other dogs. So it makes sense with either the breeder or maybe somebody got two of them from the same litter. It's like the litter mate syndrome of, they match each other's energy, they get bigger, the play gets rougher. So she just doesn't know how to play with humans.
gotcha.
So yeah, dealing with that, she caught me right in the crease of my elbow. One of the times, running, jumping at full speed, and then grabbing me with her mouth. So she didn't bite, but she had latched on and took her weight down with her before she had let go.
Sheesh.
So that was a fun thing to deal with. But other than that, she's doing well. Leash training's been going pretty well. Trying to incorporate some sniff training. So some other things to kind of keep her occupied throughout the day. So that's been doing good. It's helped kind of with that structure and that foundation and, having those boundaries, and then, just trying to remain consistent. So with her, and then, also my work and my sleep schedule, and that's been better. Last night it's really weird. You ever take a nap sometimes, you get really vivid dreams? Does that ever happen to you?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah. So I wasn't feeling the best last night, so I went to lay down. Sometimes you feel sick, you just feel off, you can't fall asleep. But I fell asleep, and right around my usual time. But then I had pretty vivid dreams, and woke up, and then tried to fall back asleep. Had really vivid dreams, and then I was just up at 45 minutes after I initially had fallen asleep. So I was up for a good amount of time last night. And then luckily I got up earlier this morning than I typically would. But yeah, I managed to get through work just fine. Got reminded that I still need to get some blood work done. My doctor thought I might be low iron. I'm thinking she might be right, considering over the last few days getting a good amount of sleep and still kind of feeling tired or sleeping through my alarms, even though I've kind of have it set up of 9:30 and 5:30, and getting up at 7. So I don't know if it's sleep apnea. Luckily, the home sleep studies are at a shortage, so the earliest appointment I could get in June, that was canceled a few weeks ago. So gotta love U.S. healthcare. But kind of the journaling and just trying to chill out, before going to bed, and having that me time, or me and Daphne time, has been good. Keeping my mind at ease for the most part, and just kind of taking it day by day, doing my work, and seeing what else I want to improve on, what I want to get better at.
Nice, man. Yeah, watch out for that low iron because my mother-in-law has low iron. She's had low iron for I think ever since she got her gastric sleeve. I think I was screw up with one she got, but yeah, she has to get an injection once a year, and she's been having kind of. She was put on a. She goes to see a functional medicine doctor, and they were giving her like kind of like a vitamin IV type deal, to kind of help supplement in between shots. But it was also causing her to have kidney issues. So definitely get that. I don't put the fear in you. I don't think that's where it's going to go, but it's something to kind of be mindful of. It can get kind of scary if you're noticing that, especially if you're chewing on ice a lot. Is a pretty big sign of low iron. It's pretty common for a lot of people with that symptom. So, um, but yeah, man, I'm glad you're keeping your health up, and Daphne is keeping you active. That's kind of
Yeah.
important.
Um, well, yeah, I need to be keeping her active. Otherwise, like she'll, try to get work done in other ways, or she's too energetic or what have you. So yeah,
Right.
just like some games, some puzzle toys with treats and whatnot. And yeah, the low iron thing definitely. I got to go get checked out, which I thought I might have had for a while. Between the donating blood and that I've been on famotidine, which is kind of like a acid reducer, stomach acid
Okay.
reducer. So you have
Yeah.
less of a pool of acid to kind of break down some of that iron to get in your gut. There's also so trying to figure out if I am low iron, because if you're not low iron, you start taking iron, you could get overload of your iron stores, which can be toxic on your body.
Yep.
You could have issues with the iron store transfer to like the processes that it needs in your body. So there's supplements to help with that. And yeah, I have heard some horror stories of people having to do iron infusions, like that not working or having to supplement with it, and like messing up their stomach. In the past with donating blood and that, I've gotten liquid iron, which seemed to have worked pretty well. But yeah, it's just kind of another stop just to see, kind of figure out what's up, what's what, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely keep me. Let me know because my mother-in-law has a bunch of tips and tricks that I've kind of just absorbed over the years. So, just her talking about it a lot. So I know a thing or two. Not an expert, not a functional medicine doctor. So just I can tell you what I've heard and her journeys. But yeah, man. So for me, this week's I've hit a bunch of milestones. So actually, as of today, I'm officially 2 years sober from alcohol. It was a my mind today compared to 2 years ago much clearer, much more focused on things at hand. Kind of just like a man on a mission right now. In fact, I've talked about it. I've been on a caloric deficit for I guess since the end of February. I really didn't even really start knowing much about it, or learning things every day. But I'm 23 pounds down now as my last weigh in on Sunday. So
Hell yeah.
um yeah, I mean, I'm averaging about a pound a week, pound and a half per week. I'm in, I think, like roughly about a 5,000 calorie per week deficit, so 5,000 below my maintenance. So that's kind of right where I want to be. I'm trying to take on less eating. I feel like less hungry throughout the day. So, I not stress eating. I'm not eating late at night. I'm generally done eating by like 4 o'clock. So, it's kind of just all liquids for the rest of the night. So, kind of getting a bit of fasting going too. Like I'm trying to, like you are, just trying to take my health seriously, and One big thing that I have to kind of do in the next month or so is I want to go get a physical. I wanted to at least have something for the doctor to be like, yes, I realize that I'm obese, but I'm doing something about it and it's working. But I also just want to know where I'm at, physically. I haven't had blood work done in some time, so um, I just my focus is back, clarity. um, my mental health is good. I did get into a tiff with a coworker or yesterday, actually. Kind of upset me, but overall, I didn't react how I normally would, which would be to just stress eat and comfort eat. I think I had like a bowl of cereal, but it was like, you know very low, the protein kind with like some Fairlife milk. So like normally I would come home and just like raid the fridge. Like I'd like get nachos, I'd get like whatever we had just kind of sitting around. So my appetite is definitely curbed, which is huge for me because I mean, I would just go through carbs like left and right and, put on pounds. So trying to reverse all that, and I'm in a good place for that. So I'm proud of myself on that. And then third one is I'm starting. We officially kicked off the largest project of like my career. I just did a kickoff call. I've done discovery like survey, and then we're already meeting on Friday to kind of go over that. So I'm on top of that stuff. Feels kind of weird because I always felt like I was behind before, but just trying to make sure I can stay ahead and you know keep that vision going of where we need to be, and keeping communication open with all parties who involved. Getting opinions of others. Just trying to. Uh, I know I talked about that I had done all kind of like the pre-leg work last week, and now it's kind of all paying off, and I feel like I'm in a good place just kind of all around. Which is weird, and I trying to also stay ahead of my self-sabotage ways when things kind of just aren't going well. Like I talked about earlier, it's like I got into an argument with a coworker about how our taxonomy is structured. Like they felt like we hadn't made any progress as far as getting rid of certain categories and really getting deep into the user experience side of things. And I had kind of combat like, well, I'm like, well, this is what you're here for. Like you're so supposed to be helping me with this. Like you work in the plumbing industry, I don't. So how people are searching, like how they should be, things should kind of be laid out. But we weren't going as fast as this person had wanted. So I'm like, dude, I'm only one person. Like literally, if you want the ecom team involved, they have 11 people. They're working on a site that has 60,000 SKUs, and I'm working on a site with 1.3 million. Like math just ain't math in here, pal. So, and then we kind of just like, we're like, okay, we're just gonna go our separate ways. I'm like, I'll get some of my other coworkers involved for their advice. He's like, yeah, do that. And then we kind of just went our separate ways, cancel the rest of the meetings that remain on this, and haven't really talked about that much outside of work. So, you know, um, but I guess I bring that up to say, I did do stress eating, quote unquote, but it was not nearly to the factor of what I normally do. So that's usually stage one of my self sabotage that I kind of have to be aware of. Step two is usually like taking things out on other people who don't necessarily, I'm just transference. And I felt like I've been good about that. I've been more, you know, uh, more aware of what I'm feeling, and I've kind of had just an outlet of I get home, I'll nap or I'll have some downtime playing a video game. Like they just released season 3 of Battlefield 6, so I've been getting into that a bit. Just using my downtime for me rather than like pacing around thinking like everyone's trying out to get me, and everything's not going right, like that type of thing. Like for first time in like a long time, I'm kind of like, I don't know, behaving normally. So, um, Yeah,
Normal.
normal, quote unquote.
I need to
Exactly.
be normal.
I need to be. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm spending time with my son. We'll call my demon Daphne. He's growing. Like we got all a bunch of stuff for kindergarten this week. Like tomorrow's a full slate. It's full steam ahead, man. I don't have time to kind of just dwell on. Maybe that's another thing that's helpful too. Is just I've been so busy with like Mother's Day, and my wife's been working, and just like I've had to put focus on my son and other things. So getting my gym finally all taken care of down here. Like I'm starting to work out really, like getting more. I'm taking on more. So I'm keeping myself busy and I'm keeping my brain healthy. So I don't fall back on my old ways.
Yeah,
God,
that's
that
good.
felt good to get out.
Yeah, yeah. No, you touched on like a lot of interesting points there that I was picking up on. Really, just kind of the comparison, right? So I will say with a physical, I think typically those take like a month or two. They're scheduled like a month or two out. So yeah, maybe put that kind of higher up on the priority list. Like maybe the whichever doctor you're seeing could see you earlier. But
Right.
me with the sleep study thing, like definitely trying to get people to try to schedule as early as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like lack of appointments and what have you. But I think really like a comparison of like where you were at versus where you're at now is something that I've had a gap for quite a while, of just not really being able to see me for who I am now versus who I was.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something like therapy kind of helps with that, kind of that reassurance as far as like, well, when I talk to my therapist, because we've been talking for a little over a year now of, where I was at and where I'm at now. And, with life in general, of like, you're going to have these stressors, you're going to have certain things happen. But who are you in the moment? And who you used to be in that moment, is a pretty big contrast. So if you can recognize that and then recognize that's a trigger for you, and the comparison that you had made of like, well, it used to be I used to do a lot worse with the stress eating than I did after this. Which is good, and also like recognizing that that would be a trigger for you, and to kind of I don't know what the term is, hamping down, like, or anyways, like you're aware of it, so to kind of make sure that it doesn't send you through that spiral.
Yeah.
um and even with the physical thing of like, yeah, while you're if you go to a doctor that you've been to for a while, like, or if you just go to one right away, like the opinion of how much you weigh right now is going to be different, right?
Yeah.
Or if you could say like you have been losing weight, you have been on caloric deficit and have been working that way, to doing it the right way, I would say, because I think
Right.
a pound and a half a week is very doable. Um, Anything trying to get over like 2 pounds a week, I think, is where it starts to become, and I'm not entirely sure, I'm not an expert, but it starts to become like unmanageable. So it's good to hear that you've been able to manage that and kind of, throughout the daily stressors of life, to staying consistent with it. So it's really good to hear. Have you noticed anything else, like with these better habits and stuff that you're doing, like some other things that might pop up, that, with the hydration, is like being more cognizant of like drinking more water, or,
Oh,
anything
yeah.
else? Like, has that been helpful?
Yeah. So, I drink. I guess again, kind of depending on the day, depending on if I'm more hungry, I definitely, or I'm sorry, if I'm less hungry, I drink more water, and I don't know if that's supposed to be kind of, but if I eat more, I still drink a minimum of 64 ounces of water. I mean, that's kind of just like the suggested minimum, but I usually kind of hit that pretty early on. Um, I mean, I'm getting up. I think it's just because I've gotten a routine down, or starting to get a routine down, that I've kind of just been craving since like my kid has been born. Um, it's for me, kind of just winging everything doesn't necessarily work. Like if I if I'm hungry and I'm like out driving, I'm pre me doing all of this, I would have just stopped at McDonald's like without a second hesitation, and gotten something. But now that I'm like meal prepping and I'm a little bit maybe pickier on when I'm eating out, like I'm just saving money by cooking for myself. I'm learning new things how to cook, or by cooking. Um, saving money by not eating out. So I'm there's kind of like a lot of factors at play, but for me, kind of getting back to you, drinking more water, I feel. I mean, I drink probably between 64 and 128 ounces, so I do feel like I'm drinking more liquid, so I'm eating less too. It's kind of like I guess maybe a side effect of you know in my brain to like kind of fill that void maybe of when I would be eating, or when I just kind of drink water now. Like I'll drink the occasional like Coke Zero or something in that slot, but I'm really just drinking water. That's pretty much the only liquid that I drink nowadays. Um,
Yeah,
and
no,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, I was just curious. 'Cause the reason I asked is that's always been like a something that cycles for me, as far as like the water drinking and trying to figure out like what works best for you, or what can I try like differently with doing it. Because I think that it's like a pretty big puzzle piece to me, at least with the hydration consistency, to be able to help in uh, those other facets. And you did make a good point too, of like the compounded interest of, if you're eating out less, you're cooking more, like learning those skills of how to be able to cook things, and then also like cook things that you like to eat, um, and saving money by not eating out as much. Uh, and the Coke Zero, the zero sugar soda stuff, I mean, it's really a big killer for me. It's like everything in moderation. So, if I was
Yeah.
drinking a bunch of Coke and now I'm drinking less and it's zero sugar, then that, isn't that positive. But
Right.
instead, it's like, oh, it's zero sugar. It might as well be water.
Right. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I discovered, like, I'm a big root beer guy, and I discovered, like, zero sugar mug root beer.
Yeah. 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 That'll do it.
Yeah, that stuff is like, because they say the zero sugar sodas are actually sweeter and they can be more addictive, and I was like never around to that like thought of like, well, I mean, if the regular soda is available, like I'll drink it, but with the zero sugar root beer, it is just so sweet. So now
Yeah.
I'll have a zero sugar Coke, and I'm like, this sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Or zero sugar root beer. But yeah, the water thing, I definitely need to get back on, and also looking at our soundboard, because you dropped the 2 year sober and the caloric deficit consistency. I wish we actually did have the maybe it's fire if we do it
For sure. Yeah.
ourselves, But yeah, you should have brought this up in our pre-production meeting, Brian.
Well,
We'll cancel all our meetings going forward.
yeah, exactly. Until that's on our soundboard.
But yeah, dealing with like who you had to deal with, it's just like, I don't know if it comes with age or something too. And I'm sure you felt the same way, and like how you're explaining it, but just like the irrationality of someone's argument, of like they feel like they just have to argue about it, or that it's not going as fast as they want, and they just have to pound their fist. And it's like, dude, just like chill out.
I know. Well, with this person in particular, I think it was just a case of they because like the last few working sessions we had, we were kind of just like grinding and going through each category, like kind of one by one, on things we should like consolidate or just eliminate one by one. Um, I just don't think this person wanted to do that stuff anymore. And rather than just being like that, hey, like, let's come up with a new plan or like, whatever. It was just kind of like, I'll put on me and like, I'm the problem. But like, you knew going into this that like you were going to be helping, like this could be a scenario. So I think I definitely wasn't yelling or anything in that moment. I was definitely stern with my voice and standing my ground because this person is in leadership. Like they are on the board who owns the company, and you know I didn't feel like I was going to lose my job or anything, but like I was definitely standing my ground. Like I'm not going to let this guy talk to me like that and let it be okay that you can talk to me like that. But I'm also not going to be get into a shouting match with somebody who owns a company. Like that wasn't I've already have had that happen once. That happened in my last job. So um again, kind of just like you said, it kind of comes with, maybe it comes with age, maybe it just comes with experience too, like, you know, maybe it's one and the same thing, but you kind of just have to be aware of how like you can't go in at half cock. Like you definitely have to be aware of your tone and everything. And my wife and I have been kind of going back and forth on how how I'm coming across. So it's something I've definitely been working on. But I've also been working on standing my ground because I was quote unquote an easy person for most of my life, but then I would have these regrets of not saying anything like, "Hey, I didn't want to do this," or I didn't really want to do that, and it just kind of like built up, like you know, being explosively angry for no reason, and just kind of like letting it all compound that way. So, I've just noticed, and maybe again because it's just that I'm at this high point right now of me being able to be analytical of myself and kind of being aware of my surroundings, of how I sound, and everything and how I'm feeling. um I think I've just had rounds of and flashback a couple weeks ago, like it just seems like it was nonstop fighting with my wife and all of this. So again, life is kind of cyclical, but you analyze those moments, and you know, maybe actually start listening to the person who you're arguing with and maybe accept some responsibility, and you kind of learn from that. So it's been a whole growth for me this year, I think, just in the last few months of just as a person. I'm not saying I'm perfect or I should be a set example, but for me, I'm expressing myself, how I feel about everything in a healthy way, and just putting my best foot forward, I guess. Um, it hasn't been an easy journey. I will tell you that.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of the, those tough conversations are typically the ones that are most worth having,
Yeah,
or, those tough days that are tough weeks, or a lot of things that we go through with just like trying to self betterment are difficult. And the other thing too, I was going to say with your meeting is like, how it's hard to tell sometimes too how it's received, you know, um, like he gets off and like, damn, this guy really stood up for himself. Like that was pretty cool or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I think at the end of the day, for ourselves and the interactions and things that we have, like just try to take the positive takeaways. And if anything was there that, you don't specifically like, about how the interaction went, or, things that you do in your daily life that you don't necessarily like, or that you could feel could be better, then, just plan it out and think about yourself. And, like you said, put your best foot forward, and go from there.
Yeah, for sure. I think another thing that has kind of taught me, um, you know, I guess I'll use kind of cooking as a baseline, because it's like I'll it'll probably take me about 4 hours, but I'll make, you know, probably 24, yeah, like 24, or sorry, 21 meals for about, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, for 7 days. So there's like more time, back in the rest of my day to kind of have the luxury of kind of maybe putting that towards working myself, or, spending it cleaning up cleaning up the house more. Like, I've taken on more chores just because my wife isn't at home as much as she normally is, and it's like, well, our house can't fall into disrepair. It's gotten to the point where it's like it's messy, and I've been completely lazy about this, and I just need to kind of just step up more. So, um, I think kind of just when you take responsibility for yourself, and you kind of just open up a whole new level of clarity that you didn't really even know you had. But that takes a lot of time and kind of effort to say, like, hey, what you're doing is not working, we need to kind of fix these things. And you know dieting and exercising, like, when you just kind of stop putting your excuse in. God, now I sound like a fucking one of those gym influencers. It's like, really, when you stop just kind of like making excuses of like everyone else is a problem or anything, and you kind of just take power over yourself, like, it really is empowering. Like, I mean, it's hard to explain. Like, it kind of puts you in just that positive, like, problem solving mode of, okay, like, I'm overweight, I need to do something about this now. But like, you're not going to be able to lose 100 pounds in one night. So what are we going to do about it? Like, one, throw out like all, not literally, but mentally throw out all your chips and your cookies and snacks and all that, and come up with a plan. Like, me losing 23 pounds has not been without a lot of trial and error. Like, at first, when I thought I had my calorie calculator, I thought like it was calculating my what I'm supposed to be eating as far as like to lose weight. No, it was actually calculating my maintenance, and like I need to go below that. These are all those things that I've kind of just have learned over the past, and especially about myself. Like, I rotate like a carb, having a different kind of carb every week. Like, I'm not just eating, chicken and rice every week. Like, I'll rotate. And plus, like, you know, it, you're going to get different nutrients from different protein sources. So I'll, rotate chicken, I'll rotate ground beef. So it's not like the same thing. I know that the popular term is I'm just eating slop, but, you know, uh, it's good slop. It's, and kind of getting away from the point here, but I guess it's just all about taking responsibility for yourself, and having an action plan. I mean, we talked about this in various degrees over our last few episodes, but having further clarity about yourself is, just kind of helps, one, improve your life, and just knowing yourself before, uh knowing yourself just helps a lot. I mean, a lot of self-reflection. I've been journaling like you too. Like, I've been more in the gratitude things that have make me happy. And you know I'm very thankful for my immediate coworkers who kind of helped and understood. And even somebody else who was in on that meeting was like, yeah, I know you didn't have like the greatest meeting with Justin is his name, and it kind of sucks. But and he's like, Karen, I'm here to help you. So there's in that moment, it really sucked for me. But knowing that I have the support, and how I know that I was comfortable how I handled myself, um means a lot to me, and I feel great about everything moving forward. So
Yeah, that's good. Um, that's good to hear. And I know we talked at length about a lot of things, but really that gratitude and that perspective that comes back to, like you had mentioned, of that problem solving mindset. And the things that you want to solve are really the symptoms of the problems that you have, and trying to identify some of those problems, albeit triggers or bad habits or some of that. So starting out small is definitely the way to go,
Yeah.
and take on more as you see fit. The big question is like, when do I know I can take on more? And yeah, it's kind of up to you and your own personal journey on know thyself, love thyself, better thyself. Um, so you can
Yeah.
better yourself and the people around you, by knowing some of those things. But yeah, it's good to hear you're doing really well. Um, and yeah, I'm not doing too shabby myself. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had. If you wanted to take us away, Brian, with any other last thoughts?
Yeah, no. I'm glad we're both kind of in a great spot. We both got good foundations going forward. So yeah, let's just keep it moving, and every day is going to be a new test, so nothing's going to be ever be the same. It's just having a good foundation to kind of build up from. So that's what we're all about here.
Definitely.
So,
Alrighty.
all right, bye everybody.